Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our incredible committee clerk who's already sent around the document that the Farmers Advocate's been referencing. So thank you very much for your quick work on that. I would like to talk about Key Strategy 1.4 on page 19, advocating for a favorable Canada-U.S. softwood lumber agreement. And I recognize that we're talking about the 16-17 annual report, so you know, it's a little bit out of date, but we know that trade issues with the United States are a real live issue right now, you know, NAFTA negotiations and beyond. I'm just curious if you could talk a little more about what specifically we're doing. What proactive work have you done to prepare for any potential U.S. trade action in the future, and how we've responded to their trade actions to date?
Right. So thank you very much, Member Chair. I would say that I don't want to go too much into the background, but it started in December 2016 with the U.S. Department of Commerce announcing the initiation of countervailing and anti-dumping duty investigations specific to Canadian softwood lumber. The Government of Canada has initiated World Trade Organization and NAFTA Chapter 19 appeal process to challenge the determinations on the softwood lumber. And these appeal processes are lengthy, and rulings on the initial determinations are not expected until late 2018 or even 2019. So what we're doing is Alberta continues to work with legal counsel, industry, the federal government, and other provincial governments and their respective legal counsels to support the appeal process and continue the litigation. That's where we'll deal with what has happened so far in the past. And we're also supporting the development of a long-term softwood lumber agreement and continue to work with federal government on the forestry industry to ensure interests of Alberta's industry are well represented. So I think it's about fighting from a legal perspective what has been done by the U.S. for the past, and then working to be very resilient and agile as we move forward with industry and other provincial jurisdictions and the federal government.
Do you feel there's anything more we can do, either working with Ottawa or just unilaterally with our existing partners in the United States, beyond the legal side of things, on a public relations kind of perspective to help convince home builders in the U.S. or others who'd be negatively impacted by these types of tariffs or trade actions that they would perhaps bring some pressure to bear on their own government?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. I do believe we are doing more. You know, I talked about some of the trade missions on those. These kinds of things are discussed all the time. Another thing we've done is initiate a cross-ministry coordination team to really answer those questions and come up with those kinds of opportunities. I know when we have a meeting in the States on anything, this is something that's brought up. When we're doing our Pacific Northwest discussions in the Penn War organization, we bring this up, and there is some direct advocation, I would say, on behalf of government to producers and buyers in the States, and to politicians in the States, in Congress and others, so that they can weigh in on this matter as well and understand what's at stake here in Alberta, and to them.
Thank you. So I'm going to move on then to page 32, Key Strategy 3.3, supporting the development of innovative process and technology applications to transform agriculture and forest biomass and waste streams into renewable energy and value-added products. Obviously a laudable goal. But I'm curious why there are no performance measures or outcomes for this, and if you can report to us what the carbon and energy impacts have been of these strategies to date.
So, sorry, Member Chair, could you just refer me to the page again?
32, Key Strategy 3.3.
Yeah, so Performance Measure 3C, and you're asking about...
So yeah, the Key Strategy 3.3 in the middle of the page.
Okay.
There. Yeah. It appears there are no performance measures or outcomes related directly to Key Strategy 3.3. Can you speak to what the outcomes in terms of energy impacts and carbon offsets have been as a result of that key strategy?
Right. Yeah, so that key strategy is certainly a part of the greater outcome of 3. So in terms of outcome, it's about supporting Alberta's agriculture and forest industries and environmental responsible sustainability.
Can you respond in writing to that?
Yes, we may.
question?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.